Molweni. Hi guys, welcome. Please tap the screen. Tap the screen so that people can know that we are here. Hi Amu. I know Amu is one of the people that used to join us last year. Good evening. Good evening. Please tap the screen so that people can know that we are here. I am going to start in the next should I do it 3 minutes? Yeah, I'm going to start in the next 3 minutes. Let's tap your screen so that people can know that we are here. How are you guys doing? Mr. Muff! Guys, I get excited. To the people who are new here on this page, please don't mind me when I get excited when I see certain people joining in. These are people that, hi Banele, these are people that used to be on this platform, people that I share this platform with rather. So I get very excited to see them joining us for this conversation, particularly because, particularly because we haven't done this in a very, very long time. And this was our safe space. This was a space where we would come and debrief. And before I went live, I was like, you know what? I think I should write an apology message to the OGs, because really, I feel like I did you guys dirty. But there's good you love me regardless, because I still see your love on the comment sections when I post videos. I'm extremely grateful for all the OGs, Betunana, the people who are here, the people who were here for the nursing career conversations. Oh, Ngosiyam, Ntivo, hi, Dali. I think no promises, Betunana. I might come back to doing at least one live. Wanda is here. Hi, babes. Hi, Umpile. Let me just commit to this. I'm gonna do one live per week. School is tough for me, guys, and I think I've mentioned why school is tough. Being a diploma, and maybe I might sound like I'm making excuses, but being a diploma graduate, like coming from the colleges, research really is not as, it's not as easy as I think it is for students that did the R425 degree. Because the R425 degree students, they have a bit of a research background. But for us who did our undergrad in nursing schools, hey guys, research tends to show us flames. So yeah, I'm currently busy writing my proposal. It's literally due on the 6th of May. So what I will do is I will do one live per week. Just before we wrap this one up, we will decide if we are going to do it on Wednesday or Friday, or we're going to do it on Sunday. We will decide, but it's going to be 8 p.m. I'm going to be here today. I'm going to be here for 1 hour, only 1 hour. There are certain people I had invited here today, but I haven't seen them logging in. I don't know, maybe they might be here. I think they know themselves, because I sent one Pro X. I sent another one a DM earlier on. If they are here, please. If they are here, please, guys, can you make me aware that you are here? The reason I'm here today, hello Nell, true, like research for college students, for us who have a diploma in nursing as an undergrad, research is showing us flames. The reason I'm here today, guys, I don't have a guest speaker, but I'm hoping that you guys will come forward and share information. If you are new here, if you just discovered me through this payslip saga that has been happening on my platform, my name is Zanele Tsekiso. I am a registered nurse by profession, and I am currently working as a quality assurance coordinator in HIV rapid testing. I work in public health. I hold a diploma in nursing, comprehensive nursing science, and I also hold a postgraduate diploma in HIV management from Stellies, and I'm currently a master's student for Masters in HIV Management at the University of Stellenbosch. I am all about nurses uplifting one another. I am a firm believer that as nurses, for us to prosper as a profession, me alone, I will not be able to do it. We need to pull each other up. We need to empower each other with knowledge. We need to share. And that is the reason I started posting people's payslips. Actually, the initial plan was for me to say, guys, I'm encouraging you not to shy away from sharing your salary or like the range of your salary to someone who's asking you. I shared that at some point I applied for a position that I really wanted, and I didn't know what salary negotiations are. How do I even negotiate for a salary? I didn't know how to do those things. And I asked a certain person who was working for this organization that I really wanted to work for. I asked her and I said, they're saying I must state how much do I want, and I don't think I know how much do I want. How much do nurses in this position earn? And then that person could not tell me how much was their salary or the range. They were like, how much do you want? And then a number on my head. I was like, this is how much I want. Looking at the money that I at that time, I felt like I needed to maintain my life. And that person said, okay, yeah, tell them that you want that much. And guess what? I nailed the interview, and I could have gotten that NGO job. I was working for DOH then. I was very frustrated. Because yes, the person that I wanted to join has just joined. But I was very frustrated at DOH at that time, and I just wanted out. And ndaka a number on my head. And guess what? That organization did not give me the post because the number that I had requested was far beyond the budget. I knew the budget after I got into the NGO space. I was like, oh, okay, this is how much that position was actually offering. And that lady allowed me, a nurse, a fellow nurse, one that I know. Hi, Mahau, thank you so much for joining us. And one that I know, a lady that I know who is a fellow nurse, chose not to give me guidance. All I wanted was guidance, but she chose not to give it to me. I don't know what the reasons were, but nonetheless, I did not get that job. And the reason, then I shot a video during the week. The reason I shot that video, it was to say, please share with nurses what is the related, like the market related salaries. When they ask you, when nurses in your circle ask you, so for a position like this, how much can I say I want? Please share such information. It's not going to take anything from you. We have a reputation as nurses amongst each other that we don't share. We want to keep things to ourselves. We gatekeep stuff, information that can literally cost us nothing from one another. That is the reason I started the conversation. And there were people who were generous enough to even just send me their pay slips for me to share with you guys so that you can know what is the market related salary for certain positions in nursing. And what I also picked up from the conversation we're having is that not only do nurses not know their worth, but they also not know what is available, like what is at their disposal, what is available for them to choose from. Like there were people who were asking, which position is this one now? What kind of a job is this? That made me realize there's a lot that we do not know. And for us to know is so that if Zanele creates a path in nursing, she needs to come back to the masses, which is us, and say, guys, I've found a gold, I've found a treasure, and this is where it's at. So today's live, we are going to talk about various I don't want to say companies because I don't want us, please don't mention any company name. If you mention a company name, I'm going to block you and remove your comment. I don't want us to mention employers, and also we are not going to mention salaries here. So if you want to know about salaries, I've created a playlist for salaries. Go and look at the comment sections there and read and watch those videos that I've posted. Here today, we are going to talk about different sectors that are here in nursing in South Africa. To say, if I'm working in the NGO space, what positions are available for nurses? How can nurses get there? And if I want to get into the medical aid sector, which I don't know what do they call it, but it shook me. I was telling one of the people who are here that I actually thought I knew about the medical aid sector, but from the conversations I was having with the people who are working there on my DMs, I realized that I know absolutely nothing. Like, it is a mine of gold for nurses, and there are nurses who are like myself who do not know, like, who just know the tip of the iceberg. There are so many sectors in nursing, and we need to know about those. And I will not know all these sectors. I only know public health. I know social behavioral sciences, public health. There's someone else that knows epidemiology. There's someone else that knows research. And all of us, we are here. And I need all of us to share the information that we have. Even if you might think, this might be something that everybody knows. No, please request and share. So I'm going to request anyone from you guys who feels that they want to share about a sector. You are not sharing about an employer, please. You're sharing about a sector that you are working in. I need you to tell us what this sector is about, the type of positions that you would find in this sector, and where exactly should one search for these sectors. We have laboratory services. We've got people from the laboratory services. I need all the nurses who are not working for Department of Health to request today, and we have a conversation. So now I'm waiting for your guest thingy. Request myself. I'll open the list and start sending. I'm a request. Hi, Busi. It's so good to see you. Please, if you just joined us, tap the screen so that people can be notified that we are here. You just come in. You don't have to tell us your name. Come in, tell us which sector you are in and what positions are available for nurses in those sectors. Maybe I should note these things down. Maybe I should note so that I do not forget, and you guys also don't forget. And if you forget, I get to ask you. Oh yeah, we phone young to pull a tripod, guys. But I just want you to tell us the sector you are in, positions available for nurses. And this is not a platform for just registered nurses. It's a platform for all nurses. Positions available for nurses. Where to look for posts. Qualifications, short courses if there are any that are required. That's all I want from a person who's going to join. Request. I'm giving you guys 1 minute. Request, please. If you can't send me a request, hi Pro. Pro is here. Let me send Pro a request. Let me find Pro on the list. There we go. Pro is my best friend, guys. Pro is best friend yami yase nursing school. We went to the same nursing school. I've sent him a request. There is also one of my best friends here who I sent a DM and asked if he would like to join the live. I also asked if he would, is he going to answer questions on the comment section, or he would want to talk. So I don't know. You know who you are. If you would like to talk, please send me a request so that I can accept you as a panelist. I don't want to send you a request because I feel like to go beggar on the spot. Pro, please accept my request, Booty. Yes. Pro, please accept my request. I'm also sending Nkosana a request, and akayazi ba bendizamthumelela request but ndiyambona apha kwi-playlist. So ndiyamfaka because I know he has a lot of information when it comes to the NGO space. Okay, let me send it again. Invitation sent. Let Pro go first. He is a colleague of mine. Okay. Nkosana, can you please accept my my friend request? I know I'm putting you on a blast here, but you've got vast experience in this space. Ndiyacela ngicela ungene and give nurses yeah. Hi Nezzy, does APS count when applying? Mtase, I don't want to answer, I don't want to take questions now. Please, can I take questions after we are done with this conversation? Pro, can you please then, maybe Pro log out and log in again, then send me a request, try and send me a request on your side. Papa Smooth. My network is not stable. Oh, guys, you see now, Nkosana's network is not stable. It means we are missing out on a vast knowledge when it comes to the NGO space, because he's been in it. I know he's been in it for some time, and he's built quite a reputable career path for himself in the space. If there's anyone who is working in the NGO space, please request Dani Betuna. Tell me request. Pro, are you here? Let me send you again. Invite. I'm so sad Nkosana cannot join and share with us. Unfortunately, I cannot see all 73 of people who are here. So I don't know who's here and who's not here. If you are here, you work in a certain space, whether it's laboratory or it's NGO or it's the medical aid space or it's tech, wherever you are, as long as you are not in bedside nursing, because in fact, even if you are in bedside nursing, but you are working for the private hospitals, please request. You do not have to tell us your name. Don't tell us where you are working. Don't mention any name of a company. Please make sure you don't mention names. You also do not mention salaries. I just want to know what sector are you in, positions that are available for nurses in those sectors, and where can nurses find posts for those sectors, and also are there short courses or qualifications that are required to penetrate the space that you are in. That's what I want. Basically, I want entry-level staff for the career path that you are in. There is absolutely no way that all 82 of you guys are working for Department of Health. There is absolutely no way. Okay, let me cancel Pro and my other best friend because they want to be here. There is absolutely no way that all 82 of you guys. I've sent again, Pro. There's absolutely no way that all 82 of you guys, why are you gatekeeping? There's no way that you are all working for Department of Health. Nya gatekeeper, Nina, I'm calling you out. Send a request. Come tell us about your sector. Hi, Pro.
Hey, Z. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hey, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. I see that I have a colleague of mine here. The one you just, you just, yeah, is actually an ex-colleague of mine.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
I literally have
uh,
two best friends who are working together because I'm going around telling people you guys are my best friends.
yeah, no, we actually best friend too. So yeah, we worked together, yeah, in one of the medical aid companies. Yeah.
So you guys are both. Hi, Mahau. How are you?
I'm good. How do you guys do?
We are well. You and I will still have to do a coffee, ne? It better not be. I better not be using my data bundles. Find the coffee.
Yeah, sure. No problem.
So I just want everyone to know that the two of you guys are on the medical aid space, and that's what we are going to talk about. I think maybe other people should wait, and we just dissect your setup, and then you guys can go off the panel, and the other nurses from different spaces can come in. So personally, guys, to the both of you, I was very shocked about the number of positions that are available in the medical space for nurses. Pro, I think you did see that. I was like, what is going on? Actually, even you, Mahao, I was like, what is going on, guys? What world are you guys in? Firstly, let me ask, why does it seem like it's not popular? It's not known.
I'm struggling to hear you.
Pro,
Yeah, I also struggling.
is it my, it means it's my network, guys. Can you hear? Can you please confirm on the comment section if you can hear me? Am I
Sounds like
audible?
you're very far.
Yeah, so you're kind of fading away.
Am I better now?
It's worse.
Okay, let me just. You have an echo. The volume is a bit low. I can hear you. Okay, let me try and connect headset.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, but I think we can hear you now a bit.
You can hear me
So
now.
yeah, a bit. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, your space is not popular. Is it because you guys are gatekeeping it?
Okay, I wouldn't say so, because I think most of the medical aid companies, they actually advertise their posts on online on their websites. So if you actually take time to go and check into their website, especially if you go there regularly, most of the time you definitely gonna find something there. But I think the most important thing is that you need to know what you're looking for, because most of the time I actually saw in some of the comments there's a lot of posts there. You don't know which one is actually for the nurses, and the staff, because some of the posts are actually non-clinical, so you need to be kind of careful, and you kind of also you need to look for the requirements and see whether you actually meet the requirements, or maybe you kind of close, then yeah, and also those, like, yeah, that's basically that. So as you said, I cannot actually mention some names, of the company, especially the ones that I previously worked on, and also maybe working. So yeah, but basically, if you have question, you can, yeah, just ask.
I'm gonna ask the guys who are watching to also leave comments up. Oh, I mean questions only about what we are talking about now. So if you have a question for Pro, or if you have a question for Mahau, please leave it here, and then I will read it out. So I wanted to ask: is there in the space that you guys are working in? Is there a position that, as a newly qualified registered nurse, I need to start at? Or I can just come out and say, hey, I want to do case management. I don't want to do pre-authorization.
Okay. It actually also depends on the experience that you have. Firstly, I will tell you that a pre-auth agent, for a pre-auth agent, you can do that. You can come out of the school, maybe you do your ComServe 1 year experience, or actually, I know someone that who actually applied in one of these medical aid schemes, and also she only did her ComServe. I think it was in 2022, and in 2023 she was actually employed, and she's currently doing pre-authorization department. So that is actually the easiest entry to go into these medical aid. So when you don't have like the experience, so the pre-auth is quite tough. I think that's why most of the time you'll find that it always have like posts available in most companies, because it's very different than what we do on the floor, especially when you come in as a nurse. because you are used to work like on the bedside, dealing with patient, and now you have to go to the call center whereby you're actually gonna be taking calls from the doctors, and those calls sometimes they could be like non-stop. You can take calls like what every minute, you don't have time to actually breathe, especially on the days like Mondays, Tuesday is very busy in the mornings. So you'll find out like it's too much pressure there. And then most of the time, most of the nurses, they will be there. Maybe some will go to training for 6 weeks and then get there only in 1 month to resign and go back to nursing because they cannot actually cope, with that. But when you feel like it's kind of environment for you, and you kind of onyamezele, and spend some time because once at least you're done with your probation, which is in most companies is 6 months. So after 6 months, especially if you did well in your pre-auth, then you do get opportunities whereby you can meet, whereby you can move like within the company, like do things like case management, which is even with case management is very broad. It's different. You can go maybe do case management in claims whereby you're gonna actually manage the claim side and like you check like whether what the doctor, the hospital they are claiming for is actually what is clinical for whatever procedure that they were doing. So you are using kind of your clinical skill, your clinical knowledge to kind of assist whatever they are claiming. And then you can say, okay, it does with it the certain amount that they want. In some cases, when you're working in claim, then you will have maybe to negotiate with the providers, maybe if they want something like prosthesis, those things, then you go, you call, you actually negotiate with them. Maybe they can give you a discount, which is on the side of the medical aid. Um, it kind of saves some cost also for them. So there's quite a lot, man, that is happening there. You can work in PMP, whereby you kind of review all those PMP cases, you know,
What is the
whether
PMP?
it's clinical or so PMP is called minimum prescribed benefit. So it's like in simplest terms, it's just like is what government covers. So if you see all the procedures that are done at the government sector, or whatever the equipment or whatever treatment that the government does give to the public patient, so that means every private patient need to have those benefits. So a medical aid cannot decline and say that they cannot fund for that. So that actually requires someone that to actually understand the industry, also maybe the government, but you also need to understand the PNP, at broad. So that's also part of case management. Sometimes you can also do just a general case management, whereby maybe you just update those patients that who have been admitted in the ward, and you go, you kind of update their length of stay. You see whether they, let's say they are requesting ICU. So what you do as a case manager, you check based on the clinical information that they're going to provide to you, and to say maybe the patient is getting certain medication or post after that certain procedure that was done, and then they want the ICU. So you just check whether is that clinically indicated for that procedure or for whatever the treatment the patient is in, or based on the clinical picture that they're gonna pay, like they're giving to you, whether it's clinical, then you kind of approve. But all of those things, before you even get there, you do go to training. You actually do have guidelines, so it's not something that you take from your mind, or you need to have experience for it. Even if you never sometimes worked in ICU or high care, so you are able to kind of get some protocols to use, to make those discussion. And also more in most companies you actually do have even a support, people that you can ask, like your managers, team leaders that are available for you. So yeah, it's quite broad. So now I think most of the people, they always confused. I actually saw also in the questions that were popping up on all the posts that you were actually sharing, there's a huge difference between a pre-authorization and a case management. So with the pre-authorization is whereby you are in call center. Let's say you have a medical aid. Let's say it's James. So you are a member of James. Now you need to be admitted into the hospital. Now what you need is you need a number which is called the pre-authorization number. So what you do is you get the information from the doctor, the codes, ICD-10 code, whatever procedure code that they need. Then you call the call center. So when you call the call center, someone that is going to pick your call is a call center agent, which is the pre-auth agent. So that person is going to get the clinical information, is going to get the ICD-10 code and whatever that you need or whatever that you provide, and then capture into the system and then give you the number. Now, once the member is in hospital, the pre-auth agent is no longer involved. Now, that's whereby the case management starts. Case management kind of manage the patient when the patient is already in the hospital. So those kind of a post of case management are those posts we normally call it like it's a back office. So most of the time you're not required to be on the calls. So you just work like in the emails. There are things that are called pools whereby certain work from certain hospital will filter to a certain channel, whereby then someone is going to come and action those cases. So that the case management is a back office, so you don't need to take calls. And then with the pre-auth, unfortunately, it's calls. It's a call center. And the pre-auth is not actually only for the nurses. You will also find people that who are non-clinical in those areas. And with the pre-auth, even is not only for professional nurses and also enrolled nurses. Most of the time, they actually do get those posts. So then you'll find that most of them actually in pre-auth, most of the time you'll find like enrolled nurses that they are there. And also with case management, you also find them. But in certain companies or in one of the companies that I have come across, they're actually trying to change that. And they are trying to get more of the professional nurses to be doing the case management and also enroll nurses to be doing more of a pre-auth. But yeah, so that's how things work. So I'm not sure whether.
Clear. Quite clear.
So when
I just want to, before I hand over to Mahau, I just want to check a couple of comments. There were comments that were left here. Someone asked, is it advisable to start at bedside nursing before branching into medical aid space? So should I stay
Okay.
at department before I branch over to medical aid space? And if I stay at department, how long would you say I should stay?
Can I just attempt answering that? I think that was a question from I saw questions from Neo, one from Mpo.
Ah,
Yes. So let me start with Neo's. Is it advisable to start at bedside nursing? I would think for pre-auth, like Pro has said, for pre-auth you can do it fresh out of concept, right? But it would become a bit of an advantage if you wanted to branch into case management and other fields like coding, and specifically if you maybe spend for most of these case management positions, you'll notice they always require let's call it private hospital experience, because they would need ICU, they would need you to know about coding, they would need you to know a little bit about tariffs, and being exposed in those areas like your theater, your ICUs, your emergency departments, you do get to spend time around codes, although you're not a clinical coder, which is one of the many roles that are available within the medical aid space. Né? That is also being done by nurses.
Mahau,
But we
what is
will.
coding?
Sorry.
What is coding? I have so
We'll get to that. We'll
okay.
get to that. I think Olam, not Olo, ex pro. Sorry, now I'm mentioning his real name. I think he dwelled a little bit too much on case management, but for the audience, let's just say it's important to understand that case management, to its core, it's all about um, admission risk management. So it's a risk management facet. It's got a lot of branches to where it goes. You get your back office, which is your in hospital. You get your on site. You get your clinical risk managers. You get PMBs. You get clinical coding. So those are a whole lot of other facets. So to nail, yes, it's advisable to start, and then Mevleo 2. I don't understand what MB is. And Neo had a second question to say the best way to spot jobs that are specifically for nurses. Look, some websites would make it easy for you where you search the category where it will be either healthcare financing or managed care or medical aid. Then there will be a sub search engine there where you can just enter nursing, or some will actually give you departments, health and that and that. But one thing for sure, all medical aid schemes, we're not talking about medical aids, we're talking about medical aid schemes. This is now a difference. All medical aid schemes have got some sort of a part that is being played by the nursing fraternity. And then Paul asked the question, the minimum requirements. I think Pro did touch on that you can, I know back then they used to take some ENAs, but now it's EN and RN at most of these places. Again, at the back of our minds, as nurses now, let's keep this very vivid mindset to say you sell yourself. You sell yourself, irregardless whether you're an ENA, EN, or RN. It all boils down sometimes to how good you sell yourself, especially in the private and corporate world. Yes, and then I think my answer also speaks to Vanessa Nessa, who says, "Why can't you reveal or tell us the names of the medical aid schemes? All of them,
I don't
literally
want to be
all of
sued.
them."
Also, I don't want to be sued. I once
Yes.
held a live and I mentioned the name of a company and they came for me. So I don't want to be sued.
Yes.
I also don't want to get my panelists in trouble. Vanessa, don't be lazy. Go and research. We're giving you information. You go forward and you research more.
Yes. Also to respect the Poppy Act. I'm not sure. I'm not good with these acts. I think Pro will help me with that. But yeah, for that safety, Vanessa, we have nurses across all. I think I can vouch for this, across all medical aid schemes. And then Ayanda Zwane, do you have primary health care in these companies? And how do consultations work? I'm not quite sure if primary health, by that you mean the specialty, but I know that there is a migration towards a service that is now being termed a hospital at home, where they employ nurses who take care of patients in their own homes. So you get to travel around patients. You've got your own script of the patient you need to see. You basically do everything you would do at bedside, but only at the comfort of their own home. So I think primary health. I've never been sure about primary health. I've always been in hospital. So if you're talking about a specialty, in that regard, I do not know exactly, but I'm sure there should be something, some way. Busisiwe, are they paying enough compared to public sector?
No salaries,
uh,
guys. I've posted salaries and I think
yeah.
I
Look,
posted where the
look.
salaries.
I think Pro will agree with me on this one. A lot of times, let me go back to the first time that I started in this corporate world. When they made an offer, I saw no need to negotiate.
Ooh.
Coming from bedside, it was I think almost twice what I was making. You know, and this will also speak to the hours. Somebody asked about working hours. Working hours, traditionally they would be your 8 to 5, no weekends, no public holidays, and then sometimes there would be additional services that you would obviously carry out, but those will be remunerated. But I don't think we ever did any on public holidays. I think Pro would agree with me on that one. We never did anything on public holidays. And so yeah, and that's that. Can you also advise on the type of interview questions? Forget Batupele. It doesn't work in the corporate space. Batupele doesn't work. Yeah, just forget Batupele. The questions that are used across corporate world are more about you. And sometimes, okay, you get companies that want you to do a bit of research about them, like the policy, not the policies, maybe what they stand for, who they're in business with, the basics, But they're more looking. Remember, when you're working for these companies, it's almost like you're an ambassador. You're the face of the company. Wherever you are, that's who people see you as. They identify you as the company. So it's more about you. It's more about how confident you are to deliver, how honest you are. No. So, well, if somebody needs help with an interview coming up soon, I'm sure Pro and I can avail time somewhere to try and assist. Yeah, and please, if you this is now to interviews, if you get one, two, three, seven rejections, um do not think that's the end of the world. If I had to tell you how many I've gone through, rejections alone, um a lot, a lot. So yeah. And then now, I did R171, so we didn't get concept. I believe this is the new curriculum. I still don't know how it works, but I think starting the pre-auth route would be, a good thing as well. Again, we should think beyond pre-auth and case management. There's clinical coding. Clinical coding, guys, is also something to consider. I think on one of your feeds sometime in the week, I said to somebody that if they were to do clinical coding, personally, I don't know about other people, but I would recommend an internationally recognized coding qualification, because then it opens up a whole global door. You see,
Yeah.
it opens up a whole global door as opposed to being a clinical coder in the hospital or for a scheme locally.
I think you had
So
also suggested an institution to do it at on the comment section.
no, I only suggested what to do.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you
Yeah.
have
So
institutions that you know that offer it?
there was one that I knew. It was US based. But if you're looking to be a clinical coder, especially in the Saudi region, then you need to consider doing with facilities in Australia, because that's what they use. Né? But for a lot of these other companies that are international, they prefer the US one. And then just maybe to describe what clinical coding is. So in I'm not sure how many people in the audience are in private sector, but you whenever a doctor does makes up a diagnosis, né? For the patient's confidentiality reasons, we do not write it as, let's say, pneumonia. Pneumonia, we don't use pneumonia. Everybody that's in private or in coding that's close to doctors or works within case management pre-auth, they know that J18.9 or J8 or J18. So we use alphanumeric numbers for all the diagnoses that there are, So that is something that you can learn. I know there's a couple of quite short courses that you can do, and then there's those that are internationally recognized. And then there really isn't short courses to case management. I've never heard of such, because I think each and every scheme and each and every hospital have got their own way of doing case management. It's incorporated into their risk plan, risk facet, call it that. And then with short courses, this is interesting. Short courses, decide where you want to go. Then short courses in that space will guide you. I've also noticed something, and I was speaking to one of the guys that work in a financial institution. This is not now a medical aid scheme. This is where, when you're working, when you're employee, whether in government or private, you've got that provident fund, and then that money that you're paying is kept with another institution. So uh, um, I've also picked up that those financial institutions actually also hire nurses. But there are these short courses that you need to be compliant with. Sorry for the back noise, guys. My kid is happy here.
It's okay.
So there are these RE. I'm not sure if anyone has seen those. These RE1, RE5 courses.
I don't know them.
They are mostly prevalent in what
Yours
do we
simple.
call those guys? Brokers. You know those brokers?
Mhm.
Yes. So you can also work in that space if you've got that RE1 or RE5. And let me tell you, um, I'm sure the question is going to come, do they pay? Yes, they pay. Do they open a lot of doors? They open a whole lot of doors as well. So the other common trend now is people that are migrating towards the IT space, not so technical, like your data, you know,
Mhm.
and Excel spreadsheets. People don't really know this, but Excel, SQL, these short ICT courses,
Yeah.
um, those are also beneficial. Now, given where we are as a country now, on the brink of maybe and maybe not implementing NHI, one would also recommend short courses that go towards informatics as well as health economics. So these are what I personally would recommend, that if you want to go along with where nursing is going, um, in the broader economy, then consider those options. Again, I would love to urge, nursing's not a calling. Nursing is not a calling. Let's I think that was used on us back when we were still in college to make us more compliant, because I think all the nursing students have always been stubborn towards something.
Yeah.
um and for nurses not to complain about how they get paid. So nursing is it's never been a calling, it's a job.
Mm.
It's a career, it's a profession.
Mm.
Yes. So I see the coding course. Maybe I'm not sure. Let's wait for the panel. I'm not sure if Tepiso
Vanessa,
had asked something.
Vanessa is asking, Uti, are the codes you are talking about the same as those ICD dash 10 codes?
Yes, that is exactly what I'm referring to. So that's quite an interesting space, actually. It's quite an interesting space. They are very flexible. I think Pro will attest to that. They are, especially in the medical aid sector, they are quite flexible. They work even. I mean, Pro works hard. They don't even work as hard as Pro. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they are the people that keep. So these ICD-10 codes are what you would call universal codes. So even if you went to UK or wherever, they would have the codes, and then they would change as per region here and there. You see, but the interesting part is that they keep changing them after some time. So people who work in the coding space always ensure that codes are correct, that it's for the right disease or condition, and that if there are any new changes, that people are kept abreast with, especially in the companies. So if you're a case manager and there's a new ICD-10 code or ICD-N, whatever code, it'll be the responsibility of the ICD coding team to come and coach you guys on the new codes.
Sure. I
Is
want to
it?
ask the both of you guys, were you like from the time you left the traditional space of nursing, was this something that you guys were passionate about? Was it passion to you, Pro? Was it passion to you, Mahau? Or it was just you guys saying, we are tired of this space that we are in that is currently not paying well. Let me look for something that is probably better. Was it
Look,
passion that drove you guys to these sectors?
well, for me, honestly, I'll share a short story. I was bored to death, right? I was bored to death with your traditional nursing. I think one of the things that got to me the most, and I was always trying to run away from this, was when you're nursing, you end up nursing the family's mentality than the actual patient's condition, you know? So I remember one night I was sitting there bored and thinking, I've heard that nurses can work in medical aid schemes. And then I was running through one of the websites, and then I came across something and I wondered, but why can't I see anything that speaks of registered nurse or anything? So I think at the time there were about 10 posts then. So I started going through each and every one of them. And then about the seventh one that I went into, I just went in. I didn't even check what it wanted. I went straight to requirements, and it said registered nurse, and I applied. And that's how I ended up being Pro's colleague.
Yeah.
So for me, it was more wanting to escape and facing reality, because we have to be realistic about these things. You can work yourself to death,
True.
but at the end of the day, does your effort keep up with the economy?
True. True.
You have to start somewhere and start wanting something different.
True.
you know
And I'll tell you why I'm asking this question. Pro when intone yakusa kule division ukuyo. I'll tell you guys why am I asking I'm asking this question. Pro
oh
intone when
yeah, and
eyakukhuphayo waqonda uba, this is where I want to be, because from the private conversation I've had with the both of you, I actually did not know that you guys know each other, but from the conversations that I've had from the both of you, I realized how deeply rooted you guys are in this sector, and how career driven, or rather not even career but purpose driven you are in this particular space. Like I did not ask you guys even in our private conversation to say, so how far are you dreaming, or how far are you willing to go in this sector? But from the conversation I had with the both of you separately, I can tell that like you guys are aiming extremely high in this space. Like you guys are literally touching the surface right now, even though from my perspective I feel like you've done very well for yourselves, like both of yourselves. But I could tell from the conversation, Uguti, you guys are going very far. And that's why I want to know, Uguti, kwaza njani Pro ukuba uzibone sowusuka kwa-bedside nursing or traditional form of nursing and you get into the space and become so determined to achieve the things that you are currently achieving and are still to achieve.
I think, to be honest, for me, I think I have the same reason as Mahu. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I know his real
Mahao,
name.
Mahao.
Mahau.
Oh, and he's seeing this name for the
Oh,
first time.
you became Mahu now. I don't know. Okay, no, man. Like to be serious, for me, I think it's more kind of almost the same reason as Mahu, and uh, uh, it's like I was actually broke and I was bored. I was working as a general nurse in a general ward. When you keep going to the same patient every day, you even know their medication. You don't even have to open a blue board. So I was like, I even requested to the hospital that I was previously working on. It was a government hospital, whether they can change me, place me to a different ward so that I can get a different kind of experience. And they kind of declined my request because they wanted to keep me there in that general ward. And I had actually conversation with one of my friends that I used to actually go to school together, you know, and he actually told me about this post, that he was currently working on, and he was telling me that bruh, there's these things, beside nursing, that we can do on the side, And then, to be honest, I was not interested at first. I thought like, these things are not stable. It's one of those jobs. Maybe you're gonna get a contract, you get a lot of money, and then what next? And then he was like, no, man, they're actually a permanent post. And it's not a contract. It's permanent. You get medical aid. At that time, I couldn't even afford a medical aid. You know, and I think at that time I was earning like about 15,000 after after deduction and everything has been done. And this guy was like, these guys, they can kind of double your money. And then I was like, serious? They were like, no, they can. I didn't believe it. And then I was like, no, put me in, boy. And then I sent him my CV, and then he kind of referred me. So for me, I didn't actually search on the website. So that's another thing I wanted to touch it. In some companies doesn't advertise these posts on their websites. So these posts, most of the time you're gonna find it when you're referred either by an agency, if there is certain agents that you can find on the website online or on Google. So those agencies can refer you, and the other way to go in is when there is someone that is already working for the company. What they can do what is called internal referrals. So that's what most of the companies they use currently. So yeah, that's also another way. So yeah, so that's how I actually went in. Just also to add on what Mahao was saying. There's quite a lot of opportunity. I think other things for me that actually attracted me, and then even though I started at pre-auth, and then I was like, I knew that I can grow like very quickly. I can move very fast instead of, when you're in bedside, you have to wait like the 10 years experience, the 5 years experience that they need. For me, I was like, I don't have that time. I need money now. I need a growth now. I need to be in the next position, whether in 2 years or 1 year. And as a result, I think in that company I got there, to be honest, I was there for 6 months. On my end of my probation, first week, I applied for case management, moving from a pre-auth, and then I became a case manager within 6 months, and then I got increased again. And then from there, I think after a year as a case manager, I applied for another management post, and then I got the post. And then I was a manager, I think, for that company for close to a year. Then I have to actually change. So that's whereby I actually joined my home. So we were working in the same company. So all I can say is that in the private sector, especially in the medical aid side, there's a lot of opportunities for growth. You don't have to be in one position like for 5 years, for 10 years. There's a lot. There's a especially once you make it inside, that's the most important thing. Once you make it inside, then you can actually see the different roles. And also, even in terms of doing courses, for me, doing courses actually is good. And I had some of the question about the primary health. Most of the nursing, our specialists that we actually go further and study, you know, in these companies, they actually don't kind of credit you about it. No, they don't look that much. They may look into your experience, but not like maybe you have let's say you have honors in education or masters in education, those kind of things, because those things can help you if you get maybe to be in a training section, but you cannot just be employed and then go straight to their training department. So you actually need to understand what is going on. To train a pre-auth agent, you need to understand the pre-auth. So you cannot just come from outside and be able to say, no, I have a master's in education. So they won't consider or kind of credit you for that. Yes, maybe if you have a specialist in things like ICU, trauma, or PEDS, one of those kind of a clinical one side, they can actually credit you for that, because sometimes, especially with the case management, they need people that you have kind of experience in let's say in ICU or high care, which is majority of us that who are already there. We never actually specialize in those, so they can take you and then you kind of specialize in those field. And also for a psych, there are other companies that will have someone who did psych, have masters in psych, and they will kind of like and specialize with psych. So if maybe we need some information that we don't understand, we'll normally be referred to that patient. So we'll be like a psych case manager. So and also a PEDS, if maybe the neonate ICU and all that stuff. But one thing that I will tell you that counts a lot is the experience. And other courses that I will advise maybe you can do, like things that are more related to with business, things like business management. But I would advise, like, most of the courses, if you do it, you do it when you're already there, when you already know this is actually what I want. Because I know people, a lot of people, some of them I actually did refer, they couldn't make it there, and I'm sure maybe some of them, they are actually in the call. They only stayed for 1 month, and then they were like they cannot take it, and some of them, they actually found that the money was not good enough, even though some would say it was good. And the other thing that we need to understand, especially us as nurses, guys, when you get an offer, I think most of us, you will see most of these medical aid companies, when they give you an offer, which is the huge difference between the medical aid and also what the government actually give us. With the medical aid, let me say with the private sector, I think some of the hospital also do the same. When you get there, you are given a package. So when you get that package, it's something that is called cost for the company. So meaning that is this amount that the company is going to pay for you for that role, you know. So when you say, does it pay more or less? So what happens is that in some companies, they kind of have a bracket, a certain bracket. They will say that we start to pay 32,000 up to 40 for this post. So it's possible that you can have experience, but if you don't have good negotiation skills, you may end up lending maybe to 32,000. Someone who have less experience than you, because they have good negotiation skills, they end up getting the 40. So the offers are different. So it depends on how did you negotiate. And the other thing that also differ, we can also get the same offer, but the takeaway, which is after the deduction and after everything, it may not be the same, because there is a lot of things that actually influence that when it's come to the private sector. Because first they look at the medical aid. For example, someone that you have a wife, two, 3 kids, 4 kids, 5 kids in the medical aid. So that means those people will be paying more. Let's say you have 2 kids, maybe you'll be paying about 6,000 and the spouse. But if you are a single person, no kids, so that means maybe you may get, depending also on the plan that you choose, you may pay maybe about let's say 2,000. You know, that means your takeaway is going to be much more than the one that we actually have a lot of dependent in their medical aid. So that's also another factor. So when you look into the, like I saw the pay slips also. So when you look into the pay slip, sometimes you also need to look not only on what is the take home, but also into whatever that person is contributing, the deductions, because they also play a huge role. It's the same also with the retirement contribution. In the private sector, you actually given an opportunity or an option. So with government, you only sign. So they take, I think the last time I checked, it was about 14% is your contribution. And with private sector, what they do is they give you an option. They say to you, okay, we have kind of a minimum percentage that you can contribute. Maybe they will say most, or the one that I know, they will say maybe 7% or 7.5. So then it's up to you. You choose to say, okay, I'm going to take the 7%, which is less. No, what does that mean? It means that most of whatever that you make is going to come to you instead of you waiting for it to get it when you retire, like in government. That's why you'll find out most of the people that our mothers and our grannies that were retired in government, they always have millions, you know. In the private sector, you also like you have an opportunity to say, now I actually don't want to be contributing quite a lot of my income, you know. I actually need to contribute maybe lesser, even though it doesn't mean like 7% or 5% is quite like a little money. It's actually also a lot of money, especially with the private company. So there is some they invest it and then it grow. I don't know, but yeah, so it kind of much better there. So those are the things that you actually also need to consider and look to. So what I noticed in some of the people that I actually have referred in the past, so what they will do is they will get an offer. You are earning currently 15,000, maybe after the deduction. That's what you get, and then you take home, and then you apply for a pre-auth agent, for pre-auth post. They say to you, okay, we like you, we love you. Here's 32,000. And then to you, you're thinking, damn, 32,000 is a lot, you know. But you didn't consider the fact that you still have your medical aid there. There's still your tax there. Now, by the time you get, they did all the deduction, they did the tax, you find yourself like getting maybe, let's say, 18,000. And then you're like, no, these people robbed me.
Yeah.
The difference is actually not a lot from what I was getting. But the thing is that when you were getting the offer, you actually didn't understand the structure of the payslip, or you didn't understand the structure of the package that you are getting. Sometimes they will explain to you, but most of us guys, you know, when you get like 30,000, you're used to 15,000 or a lot of the, you get excited and then you think maybe, oh, maybe my tax is gonna be like 5,000. Then maybe I might get like around 20, or I might get a lot. But you'll find out like after all this deduction, you actually get less than what you actually think you might get. So it's very important that when you get an offer, ask the company to give you some. There is something called a dummy pay slip, you know. So whereby they're gonna tell you, okay, so if you move this way or you take this option of the medical aid, this is how much you're gonna pay. And also, if you take or you choose to contribute like this much for your retirement, and then this is how much possible that you may get, you know. So that you can make a decision, and then you can ask them, okay, can you adjust it? Let me see if I take this plan, or I take a lesser percentage, I take more percentage. And also remember, the lower the percentage, the higher the tax also on the other side. So that means if you're taking a lower percentage for your retirement fund, that means your tax may be bit higher. So all of those things, they work around what you take. Because I know, yes, I think Maho did mention that we actually are not called to nursing. We are here to work. You know, we are here. We want money. We want to get more. We want the growth. You know, so I think for me, that's the most important thing. So you need to understand. Don't just sign into these things, because once you get to pre-auth, you need to have a motivation. That motivation is gonna work for you. If you think like this wage is very good, you know, even if you go there in the morning, you're gonna be definitely be motivated. But if you're stressing, you feel like, hey, this 3,000 is not enough for this, definitely not gonna make it up there. And remember, the other pressure that other people, guys, they cannot take is there is target there. If you are coming from the government hospital bedside, and let's say you normally come at work 30 minutes later, 1 hour later, and then it's not a problem. Maybe you speak with your manager, it's brush is cool. And there it's a huge problem. Late coming and all those things. And also your productivity within the company. That's another thing that many people go there, they don't understand. You know, when you go there, you have a target. A target is normally kind of they normally take it, I would say, is is a minimum. They will say it's a minimum, you know, but I would say it's the average of across. You know, like it's like you are expected to perform to this much. let's say you are expected, let's say you are in call center, for example, you know, so they look into the average of the call. So they look like, okay, how long other people are in the calls, or how long other people are taking in one call. You know, if they are helping a member, a doctor, or they are helping a broker or hospital. So if they average, they find that it's 5 minutes. So as a pre-auth agent, you are expected to actually to answer your calls and be able to wrap it around within that period, within that 5 minutes. Not, it's not a must, the calls are different. But if they find out most of your calls or most of the work that you do, you have 15 minutes, other people have 5 minutes. You have 20 minutes, other people have 5 minutes. And you keep not improving. That's another thing. They will send you to training if you don't keep improving, guys. It's tough. You're gonna get there and then you'll be like, you can't take it because at first you're gonna get a pressure from the members who want their authorization number. I want to go for a procedure now. You're gonna be there taking a lot of time. They're gonna be frustrated. The company is gonna feel like you are not actually bringing anything into the company, because remember, in private sector, whatever that you put in, you need to get something out of it. And also then, besides just the productivity, there's some tests, I will say, like tests that are written like monthly about what you are doing. Most of the time is an open book. You are expected to pass that test in order for you to get what is called incentive. So if you see the incentive, most of the time with the medical aid is not, you don't have to do that much. You actually just need to do what you are employed to do, which is most of the time is not that difficult, but we all different. I know that others, they can take it, some they can't, So there's also another third component, which is, it's a QMC, Mahu knows that we actually used to call each other and fight about that, because they look the quality of the work that you do. So basically, every file that you touch, they can just select randomly and then check whether did you do the things correctly, you did this correctly, this, that. So if they don't find anything, maybe they will check 3 or 4 a month, not everything. So you could be lucky and they don't find anything. You may be good and they don't find anything. So that means you may get like incentive, which is most of the time it's a lot of money. Let's say you can get a basic of, let's say, 20,000, and then you find out you can actually get an incentive of about 10,000 or 7,000, if you're doing well. So that means the more you perform well, you get the reward. If you're not doing good, yeah, there's no reward. So that's one thing that I like for me, because I like to be perfect. I like to do, I work hard, So I want to be rewarded for that. So whatever thing that I do, I know that at the end of the day, when the month end, or when the pay date get, then I know that at least I will get certain reward. So that's one thing that I can actually advise about the private sector. So if you work hard, there is rewards, there's possibility of rewards. If you don't work hard, there is possibility that you may actually leave the company very soon. It's not easy for you to be, say, fired. They don't normally do that. First, they kind of throw up a plan. So when I was a manager, I know that you will have to go for a plan. So what we will do is we will go for a, first, we're gonna send you back to training. So that's another thing. It's not a good thing then in the call center environment to to be the one that is going down. I know many people will be embarrassed about that, but sometimes if you know what you want, and you mustn't care about what other people say. If you know that you are struggling, you don't have to push that much. You just have to go back to the training. They train you again, you know, and then they take you back. If again you can't, again we're gonna come back to you and then ask you, now what support do you need? They're gonna give you something called a buddy, someone that can work with you and then help you see maybe how to work, which is everyone is involved. You have a support from the team leader, from the QMC people, you have a buddy, you have a trainer. So you may have about 4 people around you that is there just to coach you so that you are able to cope, with this and also kind of get it right, you know. And then if you fail there, then yeah, it becomes a bit tough. Yeah, then then yeah, so it's gonna be tough, you know. And now where it's gonna frustrate you is that every pre-auth agent have their next target as a case management. Now, if you want to get away from the call, you need to move to case management, which is normally is easier. So that's why you'll find out for a case management, it's difficult for you to get a post there, especially if you're from external, because most of the time they are looking for internal people. They will normally start internal. If they don't find someone, then only they can outsource. But most of the time they're gonna start from internally, and now they're gonna go with the pre-auth agent, those who are mature, those who knows like the work. But if then you are one of those at the bottom, you are struggling, definitely they won't consider you for those posts. So all I can say is that important when you get there, yes, there will be pressure, but if you know what you want and you want to remain there, definitely you're gonna have to work hard and make sure that you master the work that you're currently doing. Your absenteeism count a lot. So all those small things, they count in private. Whereas in government, most of the time, you don't see whether you're going back or forward. That's how I felt personally. So I don't know. So yeah, that's all I can say for now. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Pro and Mahao. Oh, you guys, I had said I'm gonna stop this live at 9 o'clock, and I'm looking at the time now. It's 20 past 9, and this live
Uh,
was,
can can I just
yeah,
Can I just go at a few things before I jump off?
yeah.
Just the top of my list here, not really the top. What I'm looking at, Vanessa's asking for a market-related pre-auth caseman and clinical coordinator. Market-related salary ranges, those do not really exist. They're only in paper. Like Pro said, it's all about how you negotiate. Sometimes the package, even if they break it down, you still come to a conclusion that, okay, look, this is more than fair for me, so I will therefore take it. And I think, look, what entices nurses is the perks across. I mean, Pro made it sound scary when he said, you can lose money, but it's only to make sure that your work is not only about quantity but quality as well.
True.
So in the 5 years that I've had the absolute pleasure of working with Pro, the funny fact is that close as we are, we've never met in real life. We've only connected via virtual meetings and other various platforms. We are in the same team. We were in the same team. He was in the Western Cape. I was in the Free State, and it's been an absolute pleasure. I think one thing that he would know about me is that I'm one person who gets uncomfortable very quickly, and that is why in the company that I spent with him, that was the longest I've ever been in a company, for 5 years. I normally go 3 or less, but again, it's more about what you want. And he did not mention that, we didn't get a bonus. It's so sad. We had no annual bonus, but we could do overtime, and we could do overtime from the comfort of our own home.
Mm,
Um, and he knows how far we could push that overtime. You
yeah.
know, we could really push it to levels better than somebody getting or waiting for an annual bonus if we wanted to. So yes, dear friend, good friend, very informative, very competitive, which is what I like about him as a nurse and as a case man, or whatever he calls himself now. But yeah, it'll be nice now that I'm leaving him, and I think I'm gonna call him every morning just to annoy him when he goes to work, because now I'm gonna be working full time from home. But yeah, thanks to everyone on the live, and thanks to you for your invite. And yeah, let's share more. But I think in future, let's break down topics into what it is that we need to be focusing on, because I see there's a lot of various questions coming up.
So what I'm going to do is, like I said, that I'm now coming back with the lives because of being inconsistent. I will get in touch with you guys on your WhatsApps. Pro ngicela uzunginike number yakho because how I'll WhatsApp you and then I'll schedule like topics and we can do another live. Honestly, I think I also underestimated how vast your sector is. For me to actually think I can give you guys less than an hour, because I literally said let's discuss and let me have other people from various sectors. But we literally took over an hour just talking about your sector. And I think even on today's live, we were like touching on the surface. Like what you guys gave us seemed to be the tip of the iceberg of what your sector looks like. So I will be in touch with you guys. I will have you guys back here again, and we dive in deeper and give people guidance, because I can see people are very, very much interested in what you guys are doing. I'm so grateful. So I want to say this, guys. I want to say this. I was when we were having this conversation before I accepted the 3 people that you see on the panel. I was like, you know what? It's fine. Let me just make today a medical aid scheme space career conversation. And then Paul puts and sent a request. Guys, I've been wanting to host this man. He sent us a request. I don't know what does he have to say to us. But I wish Paul could have his own day. Like, if you are in public health, if you are in the NGO space, I think you guys can tell that if you are in the NGO space, you would want to listen to what Paul would have to say about his own career path. I hope you guys will help me convince him. I don't know what he wants to say to us today, because he requested to say something. But I hope you guys will convince him to come back and we grant him a platform and he takes us through his career journey, because he's a giant in the sector. Anyways, I'm gonna unmute his mic so that he can say what he wanted to say when he requested. Hi, Paul.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. I always live with one principle. You under promise and you over deliver. And what you've just done, you have created problems for me. I wanted to greet you and the panel and just to say, keep on doing the good work. And you know that I'm shy. Yeah, so that's me. And thanks to your panel, I think we have learned a lot. And at some point, maybe somewhere late May, I will come back just to speak about the ins and outs. Remember that we interview a lot of nurses and doctors and other professionals. And there is something peculiar that I've discovered around nurses that we can discuss and give each other advices, and then we move from there. And we can take it from there, nothing much. But I just wanted to admire you and your platform. And yeah, that's me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for gracing us with your presence. I highly appreciate it. I think it's actually not the first time you're saying to me, Zanel, I don't want to be interviewed on these platforms of yours. But I personally admire you, and I think you know that. I think a lot of, not most of the times, every time I see you or I read about you, I always think, I wish male nurses could have the framework of your footprint when it comes to career building, particularly in public health. Because you've created such a massive brand for yourself in public health. One of my colleagues once said to me, you're giving the Paul Putane vibes. And then I said to him, which Paul? And then he was like, the one from that other organization. And I said, oh, I actually know him. And I said, he's a fellow nurse. And he said, Paul is a nurse, Even in the space, you are not associated with being a nurse. And I always look at you and think, you are an ideal role model for young upcoming male nurses who are passionate about public health and leadership in public health. You are a spectacular role model, according to me. I will pursue you, and I know I owe you something. Now that I'm back on my socials, I will also deliver on your side. I will also pursue and convince you to come and have a conversation with us. And I hope all young male nurses and female nurses as well, but female nurses are very proactive, I don't want to lie. But young male nurses who are passionate about public health, I would love them to hear from you how you actually build your profile. Yes, guys, please follow him on LinkedIn. He is Paul Putzane. Yo, guys, this guy, let me not say anything. To my panelists, Pro, Ndiabulela, and Bamba Ngazo Zozbino Mahau, you guys have done an amazing thing for me and the nurses of this country. It's not easy being a nurse in South Africa. And we are young, firstly, we are smart, we are intelligent, we are determined, and we are hungry for success. But the reality is that the background of our profession sometimes hinder us from becoming the best versions of ourselves in the nursing fraternity. So it helps a lot to see young people like the two of you guys already penetrating spaces that as nurses we didn't even know about, and also not just penetrating, but penetrating and coming back to give to those who do not know, give guidance to those who do not know. I highly appreciate you guys. I am officially your best friends, so please, I can text and call and demand you guys back here anytime because I've got best friend privilege. But thank you to the 120 people that are here. I am going to download this live just before I can sleep. And then I'm going to post it on my YouTube channel for the people that probably caught it while we were into the conversation, and maybe there are certain things that you missed. Then you can go and watch it there. And also you can share with your colleagues. Please share with your colleagues. The colleague that you don't like, the colleague that you believe doesn't like you, please share this with them. I always say, I believe that alone, as Zanele alone, I can never be able to make the impact that I wish to see or bring forth the transformation that I wish to see in the nursing space. Alone, I can never do it. But if all of us, all 121 of us who are here, can try and bring someone along in the nursing space, I think we can. For us to have the reputation that we want to have as nurses, for people not to say, oh, Zanele, you're a nurse, because I get that a lot. You're a nurse. You don't seem like a nurse. You don't look like a nurse. You don't have an energy of a nurse. For people to stop saying that about our profession, because it is actually not a compliment. For someone to say, you don't look like a nurse, you don't act like a nurse, it's not a compliment. Why are you not doing medicine? It is not a compliment. It is to say, you are too good for nursing. Nursing is not good enough to be to have people like you. For us to eradicate that mentality about our profession is for us to pull each other. Like, ninga be selfish, ninga gatekeep. Do you see how other people are not gatekeeping? How Mahau and Pro shared, and other people who have shared, because you guys know people were sharing with us their various sectors. You saw how people were sharing. Now, please take it upon yourself to share in that little clinic you are working in that ward you are working in. Take it upon yourself. Play your part, yeah? And do tell people about the Nurse Z page. I am back with the lives, but I can only promise you guys to give you one live per week, because also I've got schools that I'm trying to like, maneuver. But I'm gonna do one live per week. I just need us to decide if should we do it on Sundays, should we do it on Fridays, or should we do it on Wednesdays? Because you remember last year we used to do 3, right? So I'm gonna just let about 10 people to tell us to tell me on what day do you guys think we should do it. Should we take the Wednesday that we used to use, or should we take Fridays, or should we do Sundays? Which day is best for you guys? And whatever day that gets the most voting, we are taking that one. It seems like Sunday is winning, Sana. We are doing Sundays. I'll see you guys this coming Sunday. I will post a topic about what will we be talking about. Good night, Tini.